I've had a lot of people ask me, like they want to go into tech, but they don't want to code. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. My name is Nenye and I make videos on education, personal finance and personal development for F1 and H1B visa holders in the US. So basically those that are like immigrants in the US. So today's video I'm going to be talking about tech jobs that don't require coding. I've had a lot of people ask me, like they want to go into tech but they don't want to code. And I know a lot of international students also, when they come to the US, they want to do something in STEM, especially in tech, but they also don't want to do something in coding, but they want to go into the tech industry. There is also this misconception that every single job in tech is going to require coding, which is actually not true. So I'm going to be going over like some of those jobs today. And hopefully this video is very helpful to you guys. So the first job that doesn't require coding in tech is product management slash product owner. So what is a product owner? Basically, product owners are like the intersection between the client and the software engineers. So how software engineers, if you talk to software engineers, maybe when they are working on something, like their head is always like logic. You might find it hard to communicate like with the average person about what they're building, right? So a product manager and a product owner is kind of like that intersection. So the client goes to the product owner slash product manager, who is kind of like representing the client, and tells them, this is what I want my app to look like, this is what I want the software engineers to build, right? And then when the client tells them that, then the product manager then goes and tells the software engineers, this is what the client wants. And then the software engineers can then be like, oh, we can't do this way that the client wants it because so and so, it's not gonna happen, right? So basically the product manager also oversees like that product, which is usually an app, an application that the software engineers are building from the start to the finish of the app, and when it goes to production and all of that. So what skills do you require as a product manager? Honestly, you don't even require any coding skills. A lot of product managers come from the business side, even though there are also some people that read something in tech, like maybe computer science, and they still go into product management. But you can become a product manager with almost any degree, right? Usually product management is all about like time management, all about being able to communicate effectively and also being able to manage people effectively. That's kind of like what a product manager's day-to-day job entails. Also, yeah, they also attend a lot of meetings. So if you want to go into tech but you don't want to do coding, product management is also a good field for you to consider. So now the number 2 job in tech that doesn't really require coding is UX design. Now a lot of UX people that I know, they usually have background in graphics design. UX design, you don't really have to know how to code. What you just have to know how to do is how to design and how the application is going to flow. So again, the client says kind of like how they want the application to look, but the thing is the client doesn't really have like all this knowledge of how design works and how the application is going to flow, or like what font size to use or what like colors to use. So a UX person is going to also go back and forth with the product manager, showing the product manager, okay, this is how this is the color that I want to use here. That's kind of like in a nutshell what the UX person does. A lot of UX people, like I said, that I know have background in graphics design. One UX person that I know did a double major in graphics design and I think it was filming, and then they also took like 2 or 3, maybe 1 or 2 computer science classes, and that was basically it. So again, if you don't want to code but you want to go into tech, UX is also something that you can consider. Now the third field that you can consider also is Scrum Master. This one is a little bit tricky because I have actually never seen an entry level Scrum Master job, But Scrum Master is basically like he's not really the manager of the team, but he oversees a lot of the planning that goes around in the team. So in tech, there's something that is called sprint planning, which is basically planning the projects and who works on what projects, right? So now what happens is the Scrum Master oversees what we call stand-up meetings, which are basically held every morning. For some teams it's 15 minutes, for some teams it's 30 minutes, so depending on your team. And stand-up is everyone goes around, all the developers go around and say what they did for that day. So the Scrum Master oversees that. The Scrum Master also oversees the sprint planning, which, like I explained, is planning who the project goes to, so which story goes to. Projects and tech are kind of called stories, so which developer is going to work on which story. That's what the Scrum Master oversees. They also oversee like the grooming meetings. And you might ask, what are grooming meetings? Grooming meetings are basically just like trying to assign points to each story / project that the software developers are going to work on. So for this one, they might say this one might be 1 point, this one might be 2 points, this story might be 3 points, depending on the complexity of the story. So the stories are awarded points based on Fibonacci sequence, which is like half points, 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 5 points, 8, 13 points. If you know the Fibonacci sequence, you know what I'm talking about. So that's kind of like how points are assigned, and the Scrum Master also oversees this. Also, the Scrum Master knows how to use Jira. So if you want to also go into Scrum Master, you have to develop Jira. You also have to kind of like develop like your people management skills, because that's also kind of like what the Scrum Master does. So that's also something else that you can go into if you're interested in tech or you don't want to code. But again, like I mentioned, I have never actually seen an entry-level Scrum Master job. It's usually maybe when you've worked in the company maybe like 2 years, maybe 3 years, then if you want to go into Scrum Master, then you can do that. Another tech job that doesn't really require coding, but you can go into if you want to go into tech, is technical writer. So these are usually for people that love writing, but also are in tech. So tech writers, basically what they do is just they write like journal articles about tech, journal articles about like the product, right? So maybe like if a company has a product, or maybe this team has this product that they produce, the technical writer is gonna kind of like write about how the product works, all the technical jargons. Basically they should know something in tech, right? They shouldn't just be like oblivious of what is going on in tech, but they don't really have to have a background in coding. Even though a background in coding helps, because now when you're talking about some things, you actually know what you're talking about. When you're trying to explain some things to your readers, it makes sense because you know what you're talking about. But that's if you have a technical background. I know some people that didn't really like study like a major in computer science or software engineering, but they're able to have jobs as technical writers. So that's also something else that you can look into if you're interested in working in tech but you don't want to code. And then the final one that you can also go into is tech sales. Tech sales, again, kind of like technical writer. You're more of like a salesperson, but like it's for tech products and stuff. So you know how the product works, you know all the things that go into the product. You can explain the product to a layman, but you also have to know how to like pitch. You have to know how to sell and all of that. So that's also kind of like what a tech salesperson does. They usually travel around and kind of like go advertise the products, the new products that was built and all of that, explain what the product does, explain how the product works and everything. So again, like I mentioned, you don't have to have a background in computer science. You can have a background in like maybe business or maybe sales, but if you know some technical things, it kind of also helps. There are also some jobs that don't require coding, but I'm gonna kind of like list them if you guys are also still interested in some of them. And that brings me to the end of my video, guys. I hope this video helps someone, because I know people that want to go into tech but they don't really want to do coding. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and I will see you guys in another video.